So we always learn the best when people are learning alongside us and trying to discover beer the same way we did when we started however many years ago. So today we have our employees making an all grain to glass that they invented the recipe, checked in with us a couple times, and brewed the entire thing for themselves.
You could say that they're a couple of brew noobs brewing with some bloobs.
It's a blueberry beer.
It's a blueberry beer.
Let's cut to them.
Yeah. Today on Brew Noobs, we are going to be attempting to make a blueberry Pilsner. Our grain bill consists of 10 pounds of Pilsner, half a pound of Carapils to boost the body and have some residual sweetness for the blueberries to complement the blueberries, and then a quarter pound of acidulated malt just to hone in on that mash pH. We're doing a half ounce of Nelson Sauvin at a 60-minute edition, 3/4 of an ounce of Nelson Sauvin at a 10-minute edition, and then 3/4 of an ounce of Hallertau Blanc for a 0-minute edition. And we're finishing it off by pitching the N00b Imperial Cable Car yeast, which we are fermenting at 58 degrees, bringing it up for a VDK rest at 68 degrees, and then back down to 58 to finish fermentation and dry hop the blueberries. And Warren can go over our fermentation schedule on dry hopping the blueberries.
For the blueberry edition, we're going about a pound per gallon as a reference point to start. Currently they are frozen right now to help break down that cell wall. Then we're going to blend them up, pasteurize them to kill any natural bacteria and yeast, and then we are going to dry hop those bad boys in a mesh bag for easy removal and cleanup at about 58 degrees, and let those hang out for 3 or 4 days, taking samples of it to keg it up, and hopefully it's good.
We're doing a half ounce of Nelson Sauvin at a 60-minute edition. Three-quarters of an ounce of Nelson Sauvin at a 10-minute edition. And then 3/4 of an ounce of Hallertau Blanc for a 0-minute edition. We're finishing it off by pitching the N00b Imperial Cable Car yeast. We are fermenting at 58 degrees, bringing it up for a VDK rest at 68 degrees, and then back down to 58 to finish fermentation.
For the blueberry edition, we're going to blend them up, pasteurize them to kill any natural bacteria and yeast, and then we are going to dry hop those bad boys in a mesh bag for easy removal and cleanup.
Like we talked about before, we were using kind of like the wine tasting hops to complement the more blueberry flavors. So I still think that some hop character is going to shine through, but shine through enough to where it complements the sweetness of the blueberries and the actual blueberry flavor. So that's kind of what I expect, and I'm excited to see how it turned out.
Let those hang out for 3 or 4 days, taking samples of it to see where we like the level of blueberry. All right, here we are. We have brewed the blueberry Pilsner, and it is deliciously right here in front of us. Since we did a Pilsner, we're expecting a lighter-bodied, crispier, kind of lower ABV beverage, hopefully with some blueberry sweetness. To you, friend.
Cheers.
First off, that was a great sip right there. That made me jealous. But this has a beautiful nose.
Definitely light, definitely crispy.
It smells like blueberries. A lot of blueberry skin coming off of that. I can smell the tannins. It smells super delicious.
I can say right off the top that the blueberry flavor is not as sweet or as strong as I was expecting.
I agree.
I wanted some more sweetness coming through on the blueberry.
Exactly, more the juicy flavor without the skin tanniny flavor.
There's a lot of blueberry flavor. The blueberry nose is present, but not a ton. I feel like if they had introduced blueberries in a different way, maybe closer to the end of fermentation, or not fermentation, but I would say closer to the end of the package, that would have elevated a little bit. So blueberry game, I'm going to give that 6 out of 10.
So I would also say overall on it, probably about a 6.5 out of 10.
If I were to go back and do anything differently, the way we pitch the blueberries, so maybe doing like a juicing action instead of just the pasteurization and exactly more the juicy flavor without the skin tanniny flavor, and just paying a little bit more attention during the fermentation process.
Advice for the future, I could say number one, pre-acidifying, maybe in the mash or even going into early fermentation could be beneficial. So if they were to probably have cooked that down in the boil a little bit more to caramelize some of those sugars, I think that could have broken out some of the pectin and maybe made the sweetness come out of the blueberries a little bit more than the tannic component they probably has.
Well, I think also with the blending, there was a lot of skin being in there, and there was some big extractions coming from the skin and the tannins.
Yeah.
And it could have benefited maybe from just some straight blueberry juice in the backside.
Yeah. Blending might not have been necessary. If it was just, straight from freeze to boil, probably would have taken care of all of that.
The flavor let me down a little bit, and I want a little bit more flavor blueberry in there to match the nose.
Yeah, initially you get a lot of the color, obviously, is a really big component of it, and then the nose comes through. So I think this is going to be a good blueberry beer, and then when upon overall quaffability, it becomes like a great overall wheat-ish kind of beer, but not necessarily screaming blueberries.
Great beer. Good job on this. Definitely going to crush it, but you could do better.